This is the mugshot of an accused monster. Booked into jail last September for an alleged violent crime against his ex-girlfriend. According to police records, she accused 21-year-old Christopher Precopia of Cedar Park of forcing his way into her home in Temple, punching her in the face, and shoving her to the ground. In the process, knocking over a flower vase and other items in her living room. A scene captured in police photographs. She told detectives that Precopia pinned her arms behind her head and used a box cutter to slice an X just above her chest. In a handwritten statement to police, she wrote, "I could hear the slices being made." 2 days later, police drove to the Williamson County lumberyard where Christopher worked.
I'm just spun around, handcuffs put on.
And arrested him.
I had no idea who accused me of this. I had no idea why everything's happening, and I was lost.
Christopher spent the next 24 hours in jail. His parents paid a $150,000 bond, then thousands more for a lawyer. But Christopher says he knew he didn't do it, knew he couldn't have done it.
I was constantly fearful as to what could happen the next day. I was going to sleep hoping I wouldn't wake up, to try just to get away from it.
Court records showed Temple police moved quickly to arrest Christopher, building a case in 2 days based on the word of his accuser. He spent the next 9 months fearing he was going to prison on a charge of burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit other felonies.
That's what I was scared of most, just going to prison for no reason.
I knew I needed to go in there with everything organized.
Christopher and his lawyers started getting police records as part of the ongoing criminal case. Then, a turning point.
He sent me a text message and said, okay, I finally got the details. And she's saying that it happened on September the 20th.
Wednesday, September 20th, around 7:20 p.m.
The day and time she said I went there and did all that, my mom was at an event that she invited me to.
Thankfully, I do log on to Facebook all the time, and I check in when I go places.
Aaron remembered they posed in this photograph at 7:02 p.m., about 18 minutes before the alleged attack happened, more than an hour away.
And so I immediately told Rick, I've got proof of where he was at. He goes, are you 100% sure? I'm like, yes.
Prosecutors hired a forensic expert who confirmed the picture was, in fact, taken on that day at that time.
I'm thinking, this is awesome. You know, by the grace of God, she said it happened on the day that I can totally 100% say where he was at.
You can prevent that travesty from occurring in the first place.
Bruce Mills, a former APD assistant chief who now consults in policing issues, said investigators should try to question a person before arresting him, in case they have an obvious alibi.
You certainly want to talk to them. You may not get any more information than you have, but it gives you an opportunity for the suspect to react, respond, deny, justify their action, or it gives you just more information.
I think there should have been way more investigation to that, because it was basically word of mouth, and there was a warrant for my arrest.
In the end, prosecutors dropped the charge in the interest of justice, a classification often used in cases when they no longer think a person is guilty. Christopher's attorney, Rick Flores, says this case was unusually easy to prove.
Most of the time we deal with gray matters. It's not normally black and white, but this was one of those cases where I could definitively prove that he did not commit this offense.
Temple Police would not answer our questions about how they handled the case. County DA Henry Garza also would not go on camera, but he acknowledged that police lacked the whole story before arresting Christopher, and that, quote, "We are always willing to listen and examine new information, and that's exactly what we did in this case." In statements to police, Christopher's accuser claimed they had a troubled relationship when they dated in high school 3 years ago. She told police she was traumatized, and that's why she told investigators Christopher attacked her last year. Today, Christopher says he wants his name cleared.
I'm just ready for it to be over with. I'm ready to actually live my life.
A life almost derailed by a woman's accusations, but saved by being in the right place at the right time.
CJ and I have talked about that very often, about how lucky he is that she picked that particular day, and how scary it is that if she had chosen any other day, it would basically be his word versus hers, and he'd be looking at 99 years in a Texas prison.
I just hope something like this doesn't happen to anybody else.
Tony Plahetsky, KVUE News.